And I'm back with more Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. It's day 3 of the trial. Von Karma's not any happier, as I'm sure. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Miles Edgeworth. The defense is ready. Very well, apparently the prosecution is ready. Who's the judge here, anyway? Mr. Von Karma, your opening statement. Very well, no opening statement, so... Not so fast. I was taking a meaningful pause before speaking. Right, of course. A prediction. Today's trial will end 3 minutes from now. Order! Mr. Von Karma, what's the meaning of this statement? Must you question everything? It will be over in 3 minutes. We have no time to waste. I'll call my witness now. Right! My decisive witness to the stand. Is it that mysterious boat owner? State your profession. I'm proprietor of the restaurant Wet Noodle of Gourd Lake. And I also rent boats. The night of the incident, you were in the boat rental shop, correct? Yeah, I was. Please testify. Wait a second. I haven't heard who this guy is. Wait a minute. The witness hasn't stated his name yet. Because I did not ask him. Ugh. I've predicted this trial will end in 3 minutes. Stop asking trivial questions and cooperate. Ugh. The witness will state his name. Well, I'm not really sure. What do you mean? My memory, Your Honor. This witness does not remember anything beyond the past several years. Ergo, he cannot recall his own name. He can't recall, you say? But the incident in question took place 3 days ago. He can testify. Very well, let's hear his testimony then. Oh, this is gonna go well. It was the night of the 24th, just after midnight. I was at the restaurant where I rent boats. Then I heard a bang. When I looked out the window, I saw a boat floating around the lake. Then I heard another bang. Just about then, the boat comes back and a man walks by my window. Very well. There is nothing to question my witness's testimony about. Ergo, there's no need for cross-examination. Besides, there are only 10 seconds left before our 3 minutes are up. Judge, your verdict now. Mr. Wright? What are you saying? Of course I'll cross-examine him. Very well. Mr. Von Karma. 3 minutes just passed. Well then, let's just take our time. You may cross-examine the witness before Mr. Von Karma has a seizure or something more serious. By your window? Yeah, by my window. Right outside the window of my shack. Could you see the man's face? Well, the fog was pretty thick, and he was right in front of me. But that's a rather important detail. Add it to your testimony. feeling about this. That man was the defendant. He was saying, I can't believe he's dead. Are you sure? Uh-oh. I can't believe he's dead as he walked by. Witness, are you sure the person you saw was Miles Edgeworth? That was him, that Edgeworth boy! This sounds like decisive evidence indeed. Von Karma, he's lured me into him. Nick, I don't like the way that things are going here. Everyone in the courtroom's glaring at us. Better act quick. We proved in yesterday's trial it could not have been Edgeworth who fired the gun! Mr. Wright, are you referring to the fingerprints? And the photograph showing the man firing from his left hand? This is easily explained. He could have wiped his fingerprints after he fired. You are ignoring the truth of the matter, that everything in this witness's testimony is true. The judge is lost in thought. What do we do? Your Honor, the witness claims that Edgeworth can't believe he's dead, but his word's all we have. If you were telling a lie... Mr. Wright, in a court of law, the evidence tells all. Apparently you've yet to realize this basic fact. If you say his testimony is a lie, then show us proof. It's no good. There's nothing. I don't got anything. I don't know what to do. Come on. 3 minutes, perhaps too high in expectation. However, 15 minutes isn't bad. This is a new record. Enough! The witness may leave the stand, as it seems like he's already doing so. This court sees no reason to further prolong the trial, nor is there any need to decide the case against the defendant. This case is extremely clear, and I see no room for misinterpretation. This court finds the defendant guilty! The accused will surrender to the court immediately, to be held pending trial at a higher court. That is all. Court is adjourned. Hey! Who was that just now? Larry! What are you doing here? Listen! You gotta listen to me! I was there the night of the murder. I wasn't sure about it until yesterday, but I totally remember it. Remember what? The gunshot! I heard it too! Order! What is the meaning of this? The verdict has been decided. I called for adjournment. One moment. So you say you heard a gunshot? Yeah, a gunshot, that night. I was sitting here in the audience listening to the testimony. Then I realized something he said was different from what I remembered. Anyway, I could just sit here and have you call Edgy a murderer. It's just not right. I'll testify. Let me testify. Well, this is the first time something like this has happened. I'm not quite sure how to proceed. You've already given your decision. The trial is over. Nick, this is it. Larry's given us a chance. If only it wasn't Larry. He could make things even worse. Mr. Edgeworth was just declared guilty, Nick. It doesn't get any worse. You're right. Okay. Your Honor, if there's another witness, it's our duty to let him speak. Right here, right now. A waste of time. The verdict cannot be overturned. Allow me to speak my opinion. In all court proceedings, it is a duty to prevent an inaccurate verdict. In order to make no mistake has been made, every witness shall be heard. What is this? I withdraw my previous verdict. Mr. Von Karma, I order you to call this new witness to testify. Now! Witness. What? The court will adjourn for a 5-minute recess. After that, we'll hear this new witness. Court is adjourned. That was close. Sorry to keep you on the edge of your seat like that. Ugh. I've seen worse. Yeah, right. You're sweating bullets. I just wonder what he plans to say in there. Larry was at the lake that night. He said he went looking for the Steel Samurai balloon that fell. Oh, right. And he found the balloon in the air tank. Yeah. Hey, Edgeworth. Huh? Did you say something? A lot of things. You seem out of it. What's wrong? It's nothing. There's something I've been meaning to ask you. What? Why are your fingerprints on the murder weapon? Oh. When he fell into the lake, I went into a daze. I couldn't understand what had happened, and I couldn't think straight. Then I saw the pistol lying on the floor of the boat. I picked it up without thinking. I didn't have a reason, really. I see. Right. This might be our chance. Von Karma has only ever run perfect trials. Perfectly prepared witnesses, perfectly complete evidence. That's the secret to his success. This is the first time he's ever had to deal with something unexpected. He has to let somebody he hasn't ever talked to testify. And that someone is Larry. What are you getting at? It's likely his testimony will be full of holes. That's right, Nick. No 10-minute trials this time. We'll milk this one for all it's worth. It was 15! Witness, please testify to the court about everything you saw on the night of December 24th. Right! Leave it to me! Don't mess this one up. I hate to admit it, but you're our last chance. Well, Karma didn't even have time to prep the witness. I just hope Edgeworth's right. That night, I went on a boat in the lake. I was looking for something, and I found it. So I quietly slipped the boat back into the rental shop. Then, just as I was thinking about going home, I heard a loud bang. I looked out over the lake, but I didn't see a boat. So after I heard that single gunshot, I went home. That was an unusually vague testimony. In any case, you may begin your cross-examination. What's wrong, Nick? It's Larry. I have no idea how I'm gonna press him. How we come this far? Wait a sec, Larry. Oh, what? You only heard one bang? You sure? That's what I said. But Miss Lotta testified about 2. The old man said the same thing. They both heard 2. Huh? Were you even listening? Were you paying attention? Yo, Nick, come on, man. You know, something's been bothering me. I'm a witness. I'm like a customer, so you gotta treat me nice. Mr. Butts, you only heard one? Well, to tell you the truth, I'm not sure. Not sure? How could you be not sure? Well, I might have missed the other one. I was listening to something else. My radio, dude! With my headphones! What? Oh, God. Order! Mr. Butts, you were listening to the radio with your headphones? Yeah, so what? That a crime? I listen to my radio. Everybody listens to it. What's the big deal? Mr. Von Karma, this is a waste of time. I do not accept this witness nor his shabby testimony. Well, Mr. Wright, should we continue? Your Honor, please, allow the witness to continue. Ugh. Nothing is more pitiful than a lawyer who doesn't know what he's lost. Very well, Mr. Butts, please give your testimony and be sure to include details like your radio. Right, leave it to me. I wouldn't if there was any other way out of this, believe me. It's lonely being out there Christmas Eve. That's why I was listening to the All Request show on the radio. And I was listening to it real booming loud. Wreck your ears there, dude. But I heard the gunshot. Remember exactly what the DJ was saying. You were listening to the radio? Yeah, what's the big problem? Can't a man listen to the radio? It's a free country. Judge, can you believe a word this witness says? What he heard was probably nothing more than a drum beat from the radio. True enough, it's difficult to believe. Wait, the witness said he remembers exactly what the DJ said. Excuse me? Anyway, what this means is he heard the sound. No music was playing. The DJ only talks between songs, so he could have heard the gunshot. I'd like to cross-examine him. Very well. I can't believe I'm continuing this. God, that dopey look on his face. What did she say? Mr. Wright, please cease these pointless questions. What possible good will be knowing what a radio DJ has to say? Indeed, he has a point. I'll allow this question only if you see some reason we should care. We should care. Of course we should. Why? What was the radio announcer saying when you heard the gunshot? He said, "It's almost Christmas. I heard the gunshot." Uh-oh. Larry, are you absolutely sure what you said? What's with the face? You look scary, dude. If you're trying to scare me, you better know I don't scare that easy. There's something the matter. Your Honor, did you hear what the witness just said? He said, "It's almost Christmas." And almost Christmas means it wasn't Christmas. Do you realize? When he heard the gunshot, it was still Christmas Eve. That would be the case, but what would it matter? It contradicts two testimonies we've heard so far. Both Mrs. Hart and the old man said it was after midnight. In other words, when they heard the gunshots, it was already Christmas. This is a clear contradiction. What does this mean? The two prior witnesses heard gunshots after. But this witness says he heard a gunshot before. The answer is simple. The current witness is plainly mistaken. Just look at him. He's suspicious. Hey, what? Mr. Wright, what do you think about Mr. Butts' claim? Larry's not mistaken, Your Honor. He heard the gunshot before midnight. Intriguing. I'm assuming you have evidence for this wild claim? Show me evidence there was a gunshot. Should say somewhere here. Look at this photograph. This was taken by our witness yesterday with her auto camera. The timestamp reads 11:50. Oh? But there's nothing on the lake in that picture. Your Honor, the real issue here is not why nothing is shown. It's why the photograph exists at all. What do you mean? Your Honor, this photograph was taken by an automatic camera. The camera was set off to go off in response to loud noises. Correct. There was a loud noise at 11:50. That's why this photograph was taken. In other words, when Larry heard the gunshot, it was most definitely still Christmas Eve. Indeed, that would be the case, but what does that leave us? Miss Hart testified she heard gunshots after midnight. Are you claiming she was mistaken? No. In fact, that the camera triggered it all at 15 minutes after midnight. Your Honor, that night there were 2 sets of gunshots with a 25-minute pause. Why would this be? Don't be fooled. The camera was set to respond to loud noises. There is no proof that the loud noise was a gunshot. Why the witness could have sneezed. Hey! My nose was clear that night, man! Well, Mr. Wright, there's no turning back now. Can you prove the loud noise was indeed a gunshot? Please show this evidence. This is my evidence. The murder weapon? Something about this pistol has been bothering me. Both the witnesses testified they heard 2 gunshots, but the murder weapon was fired 3 times. When was the last shot fired? Only now did I realize the truth. The 3rd shot was shot before midnight. That would make sense given the evidence we've heard so far. However, this leaves me wondering exactly what did happen. Exactly. If it were true that there were 2 sets of gunshots separated by 25 minutes. Why? I ask you. I'd better think of something. Wait a minute. Gunshots? Wait a minute! What's wrong, Nick? I've got it. Remember the case with the Steel Samurai? Well, of course I remember. The murderer in this case had the same idea. What do you mean? Maya, if we don't figure this out now, we'll never overturn his verdict. I've got a hunch, and I'm gonna go with it. Right, I mean, that's safe. We've already gotten a guilty verdict, we got nothing left to lose. You just watch and let me know if I say something fishy, okay? Right, Nick. Mr. Wright, the testimony just now cleared up the entire case. What do you mean? So you're finally realizing the truth? There can be no other murderer than Miles himself. That's wrong. A man was shot that night, but it wasn't Edgeworth who did the shooting. Listen, Kooky. Take a deep breath and consider the facts. At the time of the murder, 1 boat was out on the lake. This was shown by the witness's photograph. The defendant, Edgeworth, and the victim were on that boat. There was a gunshot fired on the boat and Robert Hammond fell into the lake. The distance of the shooting was 1 meter. It couldn't have been suicide. Well, the guilty party has been no other man than the boat. I have to admit, it's hard to imagine any other possibility. But this is assuming that the victim was shot 15 minutes after midnight. What do you mean by that? We have photographic evidence of the time of the shooting. The timestamp says 12:15. But he heard a gunshot 25 minutes before that. Hammond was killed then, 25 minutes before the shot on the lake. That's the only way Edgeworth can be innocent. Mr. Wright, are you quite mad? Explain who the two men on the boat are. Of course, it was Edgeworth and the murderer. After the murderer killed Hammond at 11:50, he assumed the guise of Mr. Hammond and met Edgeworth. Wait, are you serious? Edgeworth won't tell us why he went to the lake that night. However, I have a hunch. That night, Robert Hammond called Edgeworth to the lake, but he didn't know his face that well. That's why he didn't suspect anything when the murder took place. When the murderer took his place. I'm not sure what to make of this. Ludicrous! Tell us the name of the murderer, then. Actually, I don't know the murderers. You don't know? You have wasted my time again! Why must you do so? I don't know because he never told us. What? The murderer is the caretaker of the boat shop. At 11:50, he was the one who killed Robert Hammond. The caretaker of the boat shop? Where did he do this? There weren't any boats on the lake. Why would he have to go all the way to the lake just to shoot someone? May I suggest that the real scene of the crime was not on a boat? Well, then where did the murder take place? Here, of course, the boat shop. That way you could meet the victim without anyone seeing. Do you have any proof that the boat shop was the scene of the crime? Recall Larry's testimony. That night he was out on the lake on the boat searching for something. He finds it, returns the boat. Then just as he's starting to head home, he hears a gunshot. He heard a gunshot, even though he was wearing headphones. In other words, the gunshot was very close by. And where would he be if he just returned to boat? The boat shop. Mr. Wright, what happened that night on Gourd Lake? Please tell the court from the beginning. Yes. Are you sure about this? Not really. But I think if we start from the very beginning, and I take it slow, I might be able to figure this out. That night, the caretaker of the boat shop called Robert Hammond to his shop. This was around 11:50. That was when the gunshot that Larry heard was fired. After that, the caretaker put on Robert Hammond's coat. He became Robert Hammond. Then he got into the boat with Edgeworth and went out in the middle of the lake. Then who fired the pistol on the boat? Of course, it was the murderer who shot the pistol. He shot twice, but both missed on purpose. Wait a minute. Why would he shoot twice if he didn't intend to hit anyone? Know this, Mr. Wright. The moment you run out of explanations is the moment you lose. Tell us why the murderer had to fire twice. I believe he shot twice to create a witness, Your Honor. Create a witness? The murderer lifts his pistol and fires one shot, then ensures that anyone who was heard would have been on the lake. Indeed, Miss Hart did see what was going on. Next, the murderer waits a bit until he fires again. And then, the murderer jumps from the boat, leaving the pistol in the boat. I see. To someone looking at the edge of the lake, it would appear that the men on the boat had shot each other. The murderer didn't know about the automatic camera. That's why he shot twice to draw attention. Once you realize that, everything falls into place. The boat shop caretaker swam back to his shop. Then he put Mr. Hammond's wet coat back on the body. He then threw the body into the lake. This is what happened. These are the events that transpired on the night at Gourd Lake. Bailiff, bring out the witness from before. The boat shop caretaker, quickly! Very well. While we wait for the caretaker, I would like to ask the defendant, Miles Edgeworth, a few questions. Please take the stand. Mr. Edgeworth, you heard what the defense has said. Yes. Well, why did you go to the lake that night? What Wright said was mostly correct. Astonishingly so, actually. Yes. Several days ago, I had received a letter. The letter was signed Robert Hammond, and he asked me to come to the boat shop late at midnight on Christmas Eve. He said he had something very important to discuss with me. Something important? I'm sorry, I can't say what it was. Your Honor, sir, we're conducting a trial. I ask you... The witness has disappeared. He isn't even at the boat shop. What? What should I do? Find him! We can't allow him to get away. Mr. Von Karma, your witness has disappeared. The search warrant has already been issued. It goes without saying that I cannot declare a verdict under these circumstances. I will extend the trial until tomorrow, the final day allowed. I request that the police department utilize all forces to find the witness. Am I understood? One more thing. Just who is that boat shop caretaker? I think his identity has become very important to this trial. I want him, and I want to know who he is. Very well. Court is adjourned. Yeah, Nick, you did it! Well, at least we got out from under the rug there. What about Larry? That was something else. Even Von Karma didn't know what to do. Larry really helped us out. Once I sifted through his unique testimony. Still, he did save us. I just wish our cases weren't so down to the wire all the time. I know what you mean. Sometimes I feel like we're on trial instead of our clients. Hey, Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth? Did you say something? Don't look so pained. I mean, it looks like you're probably gonna get off the hook. You could try to smile a little. I'm sorry, but I fear it's not over for me yet. What do you mean? Right. There's something that's been troubling me for a long time, and I don't know whether or not to tell you. No, there's no time left. I want to tell you and get it off my chest, but I can't make up my mind. What's this about? It's a nightmare I've had. A memory of a crime that I committed. A crime you committed? A memory of a murder. Ugh. Oh, God. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting to the end of this case for sure, and it's picking up steam. But I will see you guys next time as we continue Turnabout Goodbyes.